My dad was the next in line. Hello, what is your name, proof of ID, and your destination? The ticketer asked my dad when we got to the desk. Morgan Robbins, heading to Cleveland, answered my dad back. While my dad was checking himself in, I couldn't help but notice the security guard staring at me and my father because of how he was dressed. Morgan Robbins, boarding position A19 at gate A19, said the ticketer. Sweet, that'll be easy to remember, said my dad. My dad and I watched the ticketer load my dad's suitcase onto the conveyor belt, and we watched the suitcase go behind the rubber flaps. So remind me, Mom will be working today and tomorrow? I asked as me and my dad were walking to the security checkpoint. Yes, answered my dad. Is there anything you want me and Mom to do? Tell her I love her. Of course, but anything else? No, but do as she says. You know I will do that. I know, but Marcus won't. Are you reminding me that you want me to talk to Marcus about his behavior, even after I said to you that I couldn't do that? Yes. Fine, I'll try, but it probably won't happen until after school today. That is fine. Can you text me when you get there? Are you sure? You won't be able to see it until lunchtime at school. Yes, and you should probably send one to Marcus and George and Mom, too. Okay. Are you going to your hotel first? Yep, that is the one travel policy that Marvel knows about me really well. When I go on a business trip, I always must go to my hotel first to drop my suitcase off. Okay. We then arrived at the security checkpoint. This is it, said my dad. What time does your flight get in tomorrow? I asked. 11. Oh, okay. Goodbye, Sam, I love you, said my dad, kissing me on the cheek. Goodbye, Dad, I loved you too, I said to my dad, hugging him back. I then watched my dad go to the end of the line at the checkpoint, and now it was time for me to head back to the train because I have a long ride back to school. As I was beginning to head back to the Orange Line train, I was beginning to feel nervous because my dad was going to be gone. It is just for one day, I said to myself, is how I cope with my fears, like having one parent in Robbinsog for the next night. I don't know what it is, but right now I was feeling more uncomfortable than usual, probably because people were staring at me at the airport for how I dress, and an airport is a place full of people who always suspect something. When I was taking the Skyway over Cicero Avenue to the Orange Line terminal, it looked to be a little bit bright now, so I felt less tired. I was also a lot more alert, and I was riding the escalator down to the station and scanned myself in, and then rode the escalator down further to the platform. The next Orange Line train to the Loop departed in 10 minutes, so since Midway Airport is where the Orange Line ends. The route I'm taking to school is I'm going to ride the Orange Line train to Washington and Wells, and then transfer to the Pink Line and ride it to Polk. After the train left Midway Airport, it was about 25 minutes, and I was still doing fine on time when I arrived at Harold Washington Library Stay in Van Buren. I didn't realize I was going to transfer to the Pink Line there. Sam, I need to talk to you, said Dr. Marcacius, sticking his head into my car while the train was temporarily stopped. What? I asked when I got off the train and put my hood up, because we put our hood up when we leave the train of our color, when we transfer out of our color. The train pulled away, so I had to wait to talk. So I had to wait to talk to him. The next Pink Line train to 54th and Cermak comes in 5 minutes. I would like to make it, I said. What were you talking about with Dad? Dr. Marcacius asked. You treating Mom and Dad? You treating them nicer? What? I am telling this to you as a brother who loves you. You need to treat Mom and Dad nicer. Why? Because they are nice to you. No, they aren't. Yes, they are. Bullshit. If they were nice to me, they would call me Dr. Marcacius. Dr. Marcacius is bullshit. Huh? Why? Because it is stupid. Why is it stupid? It is a good way for me to let out my anger on Mom and Dad without being physically violent on them. You hit Mom and Dad in the head with a cane the day you appeared as Dr. Marcacius. I regret it now because of what I know about her mobility issues. Believe me, I regret it badly. I am sure you do as you should. So why can't I be Dr. Marcacius even if I'm not Violet? Oh, I am not saying you can't. Then what are you saying? What I am saying is that you need to treat Mom and Dad nicer. And while I am not forcing you to stop being Dr. Marcacius, I think it is a good idea if you stop now, because that is what is causing Mom and Dad issues. Mom and Dad should have thought about that before neglecting me. How did Mom and Dad neglect you? Well, ever since George was born, when Mom got her mobility issues, they haven't been treating me correctly. But how? Dad and Mom have always been putting Mom first, and Mom cuddles with George a lot more often than me, and you cuddle with Dad a lot more often than me, Dr. Marcacius answered. So is this all? You're trying to get cuddled by Mom and Dad? I asked. No, it is about how I feel neglected. I know that with that answer you just gave me, it is about you not being cuddled, and the truth. The truth of the matter is, if you want to be cuddled by Mom and Dad, you should have asked. I can't do that now because I am no longer single. That has nothing to do with this. Yes it does. Because Hannah would think I would be cheating. And the truth of the matter is, now I don't want to be cuddled by them, because the truth of the matter is, I'm so hurt by them refusing to cuddle me by some of my behavioral issues. When I know Dad still cuddled you, when I know for a fact your behavioral issues are worse than mine, that I just don't want to be cuddled by them anymore. I actually am a little bit offended by what you said about my behavior issues. Yeah, well, too bad, it is the truth. The Pink Line train to 54th and Cermak then pulled into Harold Washington Library, San Van Buren. Goodbye, Dr. Marcacius, I said. No, said Dr. Marcacius, trying to grab me. I then had to karate chop his arm away, and then the doors to the train and then the doors to the train closed, and he was pounding on the doors to where it scared the other passengers until the Pink Line began rolling away. I am sorry if you were all scared. That was my older brother, I apologized to the passengers on the train. With how they reacted, I assumed they accepted my apology. By the time I arrived at Pink Line Station, the Chicago skyline, looked beautiful as the sun was going up. The sun was now blue, but a darker blue, because the sun wasn't fully lit up yet. It was a little bit chilly as I was walking toward the building, but I was nice and warm inside my cloak, and it was quieter inside my cloak after that shouting match I just had with Dr. Marcacius. I really sort of needed it. However, the best part of my day so far was during my relaxing lunch after 4 periods of mildly stressful classes, which is when I looked at my phone and my dad saying he got to Cleveland okay and on time. It was just the flight was turbulent.